Hi everyone, this is my second video. In my previous video, I began to address comparative political systems, comparative politics in other words, and I tried to cover some of the main concepts. And today I will continue the main concepts issue before moving to the political system of Britain. So my next video will be about Britain. Let's start with the presentation, sorry. Okay. Comparative politics main concepts. This is our second presentation. There are three subfields of political science. One of them is political theory. It deals with normative and theoretical issues. For example, if you are studying Montesquieu, or if you are studying John Locke, these are the issues of political theory or political philosophy, we can say, but they deal with normative issues generally. Another subfield of political science is comparative politics. It deals with empirical questions and interactions between political systems. The third subfield is known as international relations. It deals with interactions between states and international organizations. What are the concepts that I will focus on today? The first is nation states. States control what happens within their borders. Max Weber has made a definition of what state is. States hold legitimate use of force. Institutions are long-lasting, stable organizations that help to turn political ideas into policies. Sovereignty can be defined as the ability of states to carry out actions or policies within their borders without any interference. Democracy types. There are in the ancient times, we know that in the ancient Greek times there was direct democracy. Also, indirect democracy is another term that we know. Parliamentary versus presidential democracies exist. Parliamentary democracy means that citizens vote for legislative representatives who select the leaders of the executive branch. Presidential democracy type refers to the type that citizens vote for legislative representatives and the executive branch who function within a system of separation of powers and checks and balances. Semi-presidential system is a system where a prime minister coexists with a president elected by the power and has power. For example, Russia is an example of semi-presidential system. Authoritarian regimes, the first concept that we should know while discussing authoritarian regimes, it is the totalitarianism. Totalitarianism describes a regime with a strong ideological goal, like communism. Another authoritarian regime is known as a military regime. We must define military intervention. Military intervention into politics generally occurs when in a country where legitimacy is low and stability is in question. Political ideologies. How can we define political ideologies? Political ideologies are sets of political values held by individuals regarding the basic goals of government and politics. Liberalism is an important political ideology. It puts emphasis on individual political and economic freedom, freedom for all, free speech, religion, or association. Another ideology is communism. It values equality over freedom. It results of the competition for scarce resources is that a small group will come to control the government and the economy. Private ownership of properties abolished in communist regimes. Socialism is another important ideology. It says that it shares the value of equality of communism with the freedom of liberalism. It accepts and promotes private ownership and free market. Sorry, it doesn't accept private ownership and free market. It promotes state regulation and benefits to public to ensure equality. So we should delete this, I think, yes. This is what socialism is. Types of change. While studying comparative politics, we know that there are three main types of change. The first one is known as reform. It doesn't advocate the overthrow of basic institutions. Reformist wants to change some of the methods used to reach goals. Revolution means that basic level change that involves major revision or overthrow of existing institutions. Coup d'etat is the replacement of the leader of a country by the army. Three types of polities: industrialized democracies like in North America, EU, Japan, or Oceania; current and former communist regimes that were seen in East Europe, East Asia, and Cuba. The third world, we know this is some the countries in Latin America or some parts of Asia and Africa. Democracy. So what is democracy? The rule by the people, of the people, for the people. This is what Abraham Lincoln's defined democracy is like this. How to rule: direct versus representative democracy. Almost every government claims to be a democracy. Criteria for democracy. Democracies grant basic individual freedoms and rights. Democracies rely on the rule of law. Democratic governments are chosen through regular, free and fair elections. Here, Robert Dahl and his minimal conception of democracy is important. States, origins of the democratic state. In Europe and North America, the way democracy developed was largely as a result of the way countries handled four great transformations over the last 500 years. Some of these transformations are about the development of pressures for democracy and the industrial revolution, we can say. Here, in this table, we can see the development of industrialized democracies. In the 17th century, the emergence of modern state after the Westphalia peace. In 18th century, first democratic revolutions. Also 19th century industrial revolution. In 20th century, further expansion of the vote, defeat of fascism, and solidification of the democracy in Western Europe. So today, I mainly covered these issues, as you see. The main concepts of comparative politics. In my next video, I will try to cover the political system of Britain. So thanks for listening to me. And see you in my next video.